Hey guys, so World of Warcraft video. If you don't like World of Warcraft, don't bother watching. But I saw this and it really got me thinking about content that they could do, or ideas. So, Skull Shorties, End Time has one of the coolest ideas ever. What if the villain actually won? And he's just wasting away along with everything else, impaled on a temple by the old gods he once served. It's such an interesting and metal concept. We don't see that often. Um, so when you go in, the most prominent thing you notice is that Deathwing has been impaled on top of Wyrmrest Temple. His molten blood is leaking out, out of his mouth and just covering the temple. So this is pretty much set in a world or a timeline where Deathwing wins. Sylvanas is dead, Bane is dead, all the heroes are dead. And then he essentially gets killed by, the gods he once served. The gods that made him Deathwing then take him out. And the whole what if the villain actually won? I love stories like that. Everyone is so used to the happy ending, like, oh yeah, guys, let's just work together and we're gonna get. No, life isn't like that. And I get that it's a movie, but especially now, people are like, oh, well, representation, shit one goes on in the real world. Well, guess what? The real world isn't sunshine and rainbows. Bad things happen to good people. The bad guys win a lot. So to have endings like that in movies, think about, one of the biggest ones, Thanos, that the fucking snap. He snaps his finger and half of the universe just disappears. Not just innocent, not just, regular people, but the heroes. These heroes with these amazing powers just poof out of existence. And in that moment, he won. He won. The bad guy won. Now, of course, people are like, oh, Thanos did nothing wrong. But in that moment, he won. There was no hope. You have all these heroes just being turned to dust. What could be done? There's so many freaking movies like that, and I love them. I love when the bad guy wins, even if it's brief. I always like seeing the heroes get defeated, and I've said this in World of Warcraft. I want to lose. I'm tired of being this hero who fucking goes around, oh, you're the chosen one, this and that, and somehow you're getting the help of the fucking Titans and this, and I want to lose. I want to feel like something is actually at stake. It's like the last with the jailer. It's like, you're gonna beat him. I would have loved to seen the jailer win and rewrite reality. That would have been amazing. Imagine how they could have revamped the world if it was like, if the jailer had won. They had such a wasted chance, wasted potential with that. They just such wasted potential. It's like the jailer, like I said, it's wasted potential. He breaks into the sepulcher of the first ones. He's draining Azeroth of life and this, and he's gonna like rewrite existence, rewrite reality to what he wants it to be. I would have loved to would love to see that. They could have redone the world, redone Azeroth and all that. But instead, it's like, oh, we beat him. Oh, look at us. We're the fucking champions. We're just so super fucking special, awesome. I want to lose. I want to go. We fought Titans. We fought gods of death, and we keep winning. I want to lose. And this showed us a brief what could possibly happen. Like I said, in this timeline, Deathwing killed by the gods he served. All the heroes dead. Deathwing won. He managed to not break the world literally, but he destroyed it. He couldn't be stopped. So in World of Warcraft, it's like they take that idea of what happens if the heroes lose, but then only confine it to a small dungeon. It's a great dungeon. Don't get me wrong. It's a, you know, you're going around fighting, you know, the Fallen. You know, you're fighting Bane. You're fighting Sylvanas and Tyrande and Jaina. You know, echoes of them from a long distant past, filled with regret and be like, yeah, we couldn't save the world. But it's such an amazing dungeon, and I wish they did more like that. And I wish they took that what if the villain won idea and put that to an expansion. Because it's not like, oh, the villain wins, World of Warcraft is going to end the game. It's not. You know, even if the villain wins, as it's shown in movies and stuff, the villain doesn't stay victorious for long. The hero band together, they find another way to stop them. So even if we could lose, say, the next expansion, right? Dragonflight. We lose. Whatever we're fighting, we lose. Say there's a fair, you know, the first couple patches, we're not really getting any major big bads, but this big bad who no one expected comes out at the very end and just fucking decimates everyone. We don't die, but everything is completely fucking wrecked. All hope is lost, and then we gotta spend the next expansion trying to, you know, rebuild forces and get our strength back, and because really, death, we get sent to the Shadowlands when we die. So there's death is not permanent for us, really, game wise. So universe wise, I mean, the hole is closed up, but yeah, I would love to see like a multiple expansion story rather than having everything wrap up at the end of the expansion. I want to see where we lose, and then it takes us an expansion or two to finally get back. And the Jailer was that perfect time. This dude, we couldn't even beat him in his regular form when he's fucking nipples poking out. And then he becomes supercharged, and we can somehow beat him. That was the perfect villain to do multiple expansions. Like fucking Gul'dan was multiple expansions. You can have Gul'dan for like 2 expansions, but the Jailer gets taken out like a bitch in the first one? Come on. Come the fuck on. They had the perfect opportunity, and they squandered it. Let's see if anyone else has any ideas. Let's see. We need more Caverns of Time, dungeons, raid scenarios, BGs, or even maybe quest hubbing. Quest hubs, such a ton of... yeah, exactly. Unpopular opinion, Cataclysm was a masterpiece. Well, it wasn't a masterpiece, but it was really good. The only part about it I didn't like was Vazir. And yeah, Vazir would like to remind you of the leveling experience. I had no problem with the leveling experience in Cataclysm. I just had a problem with the leveling experience in Vazir, because underwater combat never seems to work well. Hot take, Cata was a fucking great expansion, and we just got stuck with troll dungeons for 6 months. Yeah. I really regret not having to be able... Wait, I really regret not having been able to play Cataclysm, because I thought Deathwing was amazing. Yeah, he was, with sufficient build-up over the years. Yeah. Because Deathwing, or you know, Neltharion, he's been there forever. You know, as the Earth Warder, you know, he's responsible for taking care of the planet itself. And then the whispers of the old god start corrupting him, and then he becomes Deathwing. And then suddenly his body is so fucking powerful that it's tearing itself apart, and then so they have to stick elementium plates all over him to keep his body from ripping itself apart, to keep his power contained, because his power is so large and it's literally destroying him. Such a great villain. You know, it's not like, and he wasn't some stupid idiot. No, he's very intelligent, you know, performing experiments and thinking ahead and strategizing. he was extremely intelligent. And just like the Lich King in Wrath of the Lich King, Deathwing had an ever like overarching presence. In certain zones, he was flying overhead, and you'd get your ass scorched. So you knew what the expansion was and what was at risk because you saw him all the time. You saw what he had done, the breaking of the world, areas changed. You know what he did. And that's another thing I like. I like when the villain is not in your face the entire time, but his presence is there. You know, like I said, with Arthas or the Lich King, pretty much every zone you go to, he had some kind of appearance at least once. It reminded you what you were there for. It reminded you what you were fighting for. It reminded you that this dude is a serious threat. Cataclysm, seeing him flying overhead certain zones and fucking scorching everything below him, reminded you, hey, this guy needs to be stopped. It's something that should be explored again in a limited capacity. We don't need an end time every X pack. Yeah. Oh my god, when I first played End Time back in Cataclysm, I didn't know that was Jaina, Bane, Sylvanas, and Tyrande. I just saw them as bad guys and wanted loot. I was unaware of the yeah. Most on-brand death is Jaina's. Still, yeah. Same with me. End Time is one of my favorite dungeons. It's absolutely gorgeous. Going through different time eras, you know, into the future, into the past, and the present. You know, you go into the future, you see this future where Deathwing is one. You go into the past to the Well of Eternity. You get to fight alongside Illidan, and you know, a young Illidan, a young Tyrande, and a young Malfurion. You help fight Mannoroth and see the Well of Eternity, and it is just so good. And then you get to go to the present and you help Thrall make his way to Wyrmrest Temple and Benedictus with the power. It's such a good dungeon. They were long, but not too long. They were difficult, especially with the Well of Eternity. That fucking Azshara one back in the day, that was fucking annoying. You don't fight her, but you fight her little minions, and if they get to her and everything, it's bad news for you. And then she's got this attack, this spell that you need to interrupt, because if not, then you all get mind control, and then you die. So as soon as she starts casting, it says "Serve Azshara." You need to stop that. You need to stop her from doing that. You need to interrupt. Yeah, I remember the first time I went there, and I thought, well, how'd that work out for you, Deathwing? Plus, it has the Infinite Dragonflight in it, yeah, which we know the Infinite Dragonflight is coming back, and we know Murozond is still a threat because Nozdormu has yet to become Murozond, and he said himself that in time he will, you know, fall and, you know, lose himself to madness, and that we'll have to stop him. Will he turn to Murozond now? I don't know. But I also like how this dungeon was in war crimes during the trial. Yep. But I would love to see another End Time. I've said before a long time ago, I want to see an End Time dungeon or raid where we go in and help the Dragon Aspects and Tyr fight Galakrond. Back when the dragons were still proto-dragons. Back before they had become the Aspects. Back when, you know, Tyr was still there and fighting alongside them. I want that because Galakrond was the most enormous dragon to exist. And being able to fight alongside primitive Alexstrasza and the rest of the dragons, along with Keeper Tyr, I would have loved that. And it would have to be like a raid. you know, that it's such an important moment in Warcraft history. It would have to be a raid. It's just too fucking important, because that's essentially the fight that made them say, "Oh yeah, you guys, you know, we're gonna charge you with protecting Azeroth." You know, they become aspects. Keeper Tier dies. You know, he gets his hand bitten off. He dies after. But it's such a huge part of the lore that it would have to be, you know, a raid. I would love to see that play out in time, or in Caverns of Time, because that's Caverns of Time. Time waves. You can go to the past. You can go to the present. You can, you know, the future. And it's such an interesting place because as you're going through, you see pieces of like Warcraft history from the past and the present and future and this and that. It's such a cool area. And then you go in and you have all these little splits, and you know, you go to like Mount Hyjal, and outside the raid looks like, you know, a piece of Mount Hyjal, kind of like a museum, like they're on display. So I would love to see a Galakrond one. What other one would be really cool? I guess that'd be up to you guys. Galakrond would definitely be one. Anything from the books, really. There's so many awesome moments in the books that we don't get to experience. That would be amazing. But yeah, good guys lose. I want to see it. Blizzard, do it. You had such a chance to do that with the Jailer. You know, a multi expansion villain. You know, we had Gul'dan over. You know, we had him in Warlords of Draenor. We had him in Legion, and he survived for a while. He was all throughout Warlords of Draenor. He was there, and like what, halfway through Legion, he was there, and that was just Gul'dan. He's not nearly as powerful and threatening as the Jailer, but the Jailer, in a fucking shirtless nipple Jailer, we can't even beat him like that. And then he gets the sigils, he becomes whole again, and somehow we can beat him. It makes no fucking sense. So, Blizzard, just do it. Just, people want an expansion where we lose. We're tired of being the heroes. We're tired of being the chosen ones. We're tired of winning all the time. It's okay to let us lose. Like I said, it's not going to be the end of the world of Warcraft. It's not like, oh, well, the heroes lost. Well, there's no more expansions ever. No. It just means during the next expansion or something, we just have to work harder and find other means of defeating whoever. Might be cool to implement some cool new mechanics, systems. I don't know, maybe there's one where our power gets completely sapped away from us, and we're essentially we don't get reset to level 1, but our power essentially gets reset to level 1. And we have to spend the expansion working our way back to our former strength, finding sources of magic and stuff like that to regain our strength. And become even more powerful than we were before we, you know, got our power taken away. I would love to see that. But what do I know? Anyways, that's going to do it for me. You guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.